Hello, and welcome back to another coaching tip by Cycling Form and Fitness. My name is Jeff Melcher, and this is week number 2. Week number 1 is available on YouTube. So for week number 2, we're going into kind of like the multi-sport challenge as an overview, and more specifically, goal setting. So let me get to that first visual here. So the multi-sport challenge, this is an interesting one because if you come to me as your coach and we're talking about lofty goals, maybe you have a lofty goal to do a Ironman race, your first one, and finish in X amount of hours. But when we look at it, the question really gets to be, is that a smart goal considering the balance in your life? So, most age groupers should prioritize health and life first as a foundation. And once you have health and life well balanced, then add sport. There's many top amateurs that tend to prioritize sport, and they can neglect health or the life and relationships. So I'm just trying to say at the end of the day, you want to know where you're at in this multi-sport challenge and what you want to achieve both short-term and long-term. And if you want to be someplace different than you currently are you really willing to make the shift and do the things it takes? So I can send this to all the athletes I coach, but overall I have like a one pager, might go over to a second page about goals and life balance. So back to the expectations, managing your own expectations for what's reasonable, in a 1-year time frame or 2 years or 3 years, depending on how far out you're thinking with your goals. Having that life balance that equates to having enough money to support your goals, having family on board, having life partners on board, whatever that might be. We need to have passion about the goals and the process, and it has to be fun most of the time. So your most successful athletes find a way to make training and racing something they enjoy. Because the question would be, why do we spend so much time doing this and the process to achieve our goals if we don't enjoy it? So I have a paragraph about that. We're trying to keep the videos to 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to just give you the highlights here. But goal setting 101, you've heard of SMART goals, most likely. It's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So again, it breaks down that and explains it to you a little bit more detail so you understand those key concepts. And then it talks about how to go through and get those goals well set. I'm going to jump ahead for the sake of time. So I'm going to move to a different screen here. For people I coach, you're going to have your training peaks. And again, if you can't see this now, it's probably because you have a basic membership. So when you go into Training Peaks, if you want to have the full tools, you have to move to a premium. One thing that my coach athletes probably don't know is by paying me $10 more per month, I can actually get that discounted rate as a premium Training Peak user. And that gives you visibility to these tools and graphs that you see me using. So again, if you want to pay $10 more per month, versus the 20 that Training Peaks would charge you, I can add you as a coach paid Training Peaks premium user. So just an idea that you might want to think about there. So this is my 2023 plan, but what I would do here is direct us more towards the 2024 plan as a starting point. Again, I started doing this for the majority of the people I'm coaching, is get in that 2024 plan, especially for the ones that have an early race. Like I have a race June 9th, that's Des Moines 70.3. So you can see how the plan builds up to that race. And then I have 2 other races on my plan. Those are the ones I'm most confident in today. And again, I'll help you set up this annual training plan, no matter which type of Training Peaks user you are, if you're coached by me. Okay, so that's probably enough of that. Now let's get to the forms themselves, which I have a goal setting form. And again, I'll send all my coached athletes this form. What we want to do is start with season goals. Pick a couple on the top. I have a 2 times Ironman 70.3 faster than 5 hours, top 10% in my age group, have fun. Additionally, if I do that well, I should be able to get either USAT All-American status, or I should be able to get Ironman All-World Athlete Silver status. So again, those are two that kind of come along for the ride, but I enjoy having that overall status when I can achieve it with just good racing during the year. So for my goal setting, what's the long-term goal? It's to remain healthy in order to participate at a relatively high level for many years. So again, I don't want to do something that's too painful. It's not right for where my body is. I'm not developed enough, so I don't want to start heavy weight training until I've done some lightweight weight training. You just cannot go from A to Z. You have to go A, B, and C. We have to progress one step at a time. And why? Everybody needs a why. I do this because I want to enhance the enjoyment of sport as I age, including the development and maintenance of lifelong relationships. So that's the big deal for me, is lifelong relationships, enjoying sport, and actually getting more out of our lives. Primary season goals, kind of a copy from above. What are the limiters? For me, swim speed and endurance. So I have, and I'll include a copy of this with your worksheet, and then I'll have a blank one for you to fill out. So you'll have a template. But let's just go through swim speed. I need a faster threshold speed. If I do that, I'll have earlier swim starts and finishes because I can move into the earlier waves of an Ironman start. And I'll also come out of the water earlier. And then I have less traffic on the bike. And for me, that ends up being a lot more fun. So how am I going to go about that? My training objectives. I need 3 or more sessions per week, integrating advice from Effortless Swim. Again, I'm a swim coach for probably the more basic swimmers, but I really believe that Effortless Swim is my coach for this. And I also need to include video analysis. I find it to be highly effective in improving my swim. I'm going to do that January through April, so it's date oriented. 2 out of every 3 swims without neoprene or aids to be ready for non-sweat wetsuit swims. I failed at one Ironman 70.3, which was Ohio this year, because it was a non-wetsuit, and I ended up wearing my wetsuit, and then the points didn't count, and it might be the reason why I don't make All-American this year. So that's kind of a bummer for me. So lessons learned, don't rely on the wetsuit. And another one that's an objective is to test 1,000 meters without the aids in January and repeat that every month. And I don't even know what my current speed is per 100 when I do 1,000 meters. So I have to define that. So I just put XXX for like the minutes that's going to take per 100. And we shall see. I'm going to fill this in. So again, you don't need to do all your limiters very specifically the first time you go through goal setting. A lot of these you need to do some baseline testing. And even if you've done testing in the past, we might not want to rely on that. Where are you at in January? Where do you want to go by April, May, June? And how are we going to get there? It's easier to maintain, but we need to make our gains in the off season. So again, I'll send all my coached athletes this form. I even added one for bike speed, get faster at the similar power. Some of you know I've been working a lot on AeroTune testing. The aero testing is so important. I had to find something that was a low-cost online version that I can use for coached athletes as needed. And it looks like I've already went from 26 for my CDA score down to about 22 or 23. Maybe gained about 1 mile per hour average already at the same power. And these are things I've done in the past, so I know I can do them in 70.3. But whenever we make an update to our bike position or our equipment, we just have to make sure it's still sustainable for the distance. And for me, that's a 70.3 race. So again, that's a quick highlight, trying to keep it down to the time frame I said. If you have any questions, of course, I'll be working with my coached athletes one-on-one. But even if you're not a coached athlete, I really recommend going through a goal setting process, building that into your Training Peaks annual training plan, and testing along the way. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it, and have a great day.